Hello and welcome everybody to today's video. Welcome to the Vee Academy. My name is Crumbrion, Professor Crumbrion, if you would. And today we're going to be taking a look at a wonderful game that we played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, and be happy to get your reactions to it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. If you want to follow me and watch games in real time, check me out on twitch.tv/Crumbrion. For now, let's go check out the game. Thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1, go!
Hello YouTube and Happy New Year. We're ringing in the brand new year with a wonderful deck review here that we have. We have our Firebird Zard. It's been incredible performing both in person and on live. We can see we have 1600. We've gotten to 1600 in the Master League with this list so far after a little bit of play testing with it. So we're going to go over this deck list today as a nice little New Year's treat and give you the rundown on how to operate this deck and pilot it efficiently. We're going to start by taking a look into the main attackers, the main roster here. We start with the Terra-type Charizard EX, the Dark type, obviously. Infernal Rain Charizard as our main attacker. We have some of the usual suspects along with this as well. Pidgeot EX. We have the Pidgeot with quick search ability, able to grab any card from our deck any point in time that we want to as well. The lines here are 3-2-2 for the Charizard, running a 2-2-2 for the Pidgeot line. Pidgeotto was a little bit more difficult to find, having a 1-of, so upping that to a 2 count in builds that we've been trying out has made this deck run much more efficiently. Next up, obviously, we have staples in this deck, Pheasantipity EX, flip the script, able to get those 3 cards deeper in the deck after a knockout happens. So that is a staple card that you want to be including in here, just to make sure that you have access to your cards, you have access to those things, the combo pieces that you might need, pairing up with Pidgeot to make a very strong response after a knockout. Moving on to the secondary attackers in this list. Now, we're not running Dusknoir. There's an absence of Dusknoir, Duskulls, nothing in this list per se for that one. So one you may recognize from other lists is Moltres, Fighting Wings Moltres, 120 HP, 20 base damage, plus 90 more damage if the Pokemon is a Pokemon EX. So one of the main things you want to be attacking with this Moltres, obviously, Teal Mask Ogerpon. It will one-hit KO a Teal Mask Ogerpon. If you do use additional damage modifiers on Moltres, you can reach things like Golden Go that are weak to fighting as well. Moltres becomes a very strong attacker into a little bit worse matchups for you. As well as we have Ho-Oh, able to have a 130 HP, resistant to fighting, weak to electric, so that is important into Wellspring Mask. It does not get one-hit KO by a Wellspring Mask, which is very nice. Flap for 2 energy, you're doing 50 damage, and Shining Blaze for 2 energy and 1 colorless, you're doing 100 plus damage. If you have any Terra Pokemon, so if you have a Terra Charizard on your bench, you're doing 200 damage. So very, very important into your weaknesses as well. So this can obviously do a lot of damage into the Ogerpons, the Teal Mask Ogerpons, Cornerstone Ogerpon if you have the damage modifier on this Ho-Oh as well. Wellspring Mask Ogerpon with the damage modifier, you can swing over that HP. Damage modifier, of course, I'm talking about Maximum Belt that is included in this deck as well. So Maximum Belt on Ho-Oh allows Ho-Oh to hit for 250 damage onto any Pokemon EX if you have a Terra Pokemon on your bench. So normally it would be 200. With the Maximum Belt against EX Pokemon, you're hitting 250. Which can be very, very good into decks like Mega Venusaur, for example, if they're using a Hero's Cape, and that is a 480 HP Pokemon. Very difficult to get to normally, but Ho-Oh with a Maximum Belt can hit 500 damage. Very important number to hit in certain matchups like that. One other newcomer to this list is the Mega Lopunny line here. We have 1 Buneary, 1 Mega Lopunny. Mega Lopunny, interesting inclusion into Charizard. Allows you to work a few matchups a bit differently. Most obviously into Cornerstone Ogerpon, you have the Gale Thrust from the bench. Just base Lopunny can one-hit Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. It can swing through with Spiky Hopper, obviously can swing through things like Crustle, other Pokemon that would block EX Pokemon from attacking, so Spiky Hopper hitting a big 160 damage. Additionally, as we talked about before, Maximum Belt. Maximum Belt on Lopunny makes these numbers very good math, actually. Gale Thrust against EX Pokemon will hit 280 damage, so you're hitting for one-hit KOs on things like Pidgeot EX and Zoroark EX. You're hitting one-hit KOs on Mega Absol. Lots of very big Pokemon that you can hit for 280 damage with Gale Thrust can completely change the complexion of the game, completely derail things for your opponent. And Mega Lopunny being a stage 1, you can attack almost immediately. If you're going first, Buneary down, Mega Lopunny on the next turn, you're immediately putting massive pressure on your opponent, while on the back end, you're building up your Charizard slowly to have the late game attack of the Charizard. If they knock out Lopunny, they take their first 3 prizes. All of a sudden, Charizard is now swinging for a lot of damage. It's hitting for 270 at 3 prizes. If you have a maximum belt on Charizard, that's hitting for 320 damage into EX Pokemon. So very keen to keep aware. Mega Lopunny as your early game attacker, very powerful. Spiky Hopper, no slouch either, is hitting 210 damage with a shred effect. You can take out things like Wellspring Mask, Ogerpon, you can take out Pheasantipity without having to retreat and bring the Mega Lopunny back in the active with Spiky Hopper. That is also incredibly good math to have there as well. The retreat cost of 1, very solid option as a secondary attacker, early game attacker in your Charizard list. We're also running Psyduck in this list because we are not running any Duskulls or any Dusknoirs, anything like that. We can afford to run the Damp Psyduck. Damp, Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents lose any ability that requires the Pokemon using it to knock out itself. So it does not, it makes it so that Pokemon that knock themselves out lose the ability entirely. They don't have the ability at all. And so Psyduck being in play, period, means that things like Dragapult will have a harder time knocking out your Charizard in one turn. Things like opposing Charizards, for example, will have a difficult time dealing with that. Decks that run the Magneton, decks that run Forretress, anything that runs Dusknoir will have a more difficult time dealing with you until they deal with the Psyduck, and that means the rest of your board, your Pidgeys, your Charmanders that you're building up, etc., they're not going to be targeted because they're going to be targeting your Psyduck. So making sure that your Psyduck is on bench. If you're dealing with one of those that use Pokemon that knock themselves out to give themselves an advantage into you, very important card to have. 70 HP, reachable by Buddy Poffin. Get that Pokemon out there. You can grab it through Artisan as well. Lots of good uses for Psyduck in this list as well. And one of our secret techs that I have not seen anyone using so far, just in time for the holiday season, we have ourselves Delibird. Now, you may ask yourselves, Karam, why are you so obsessed with this little bird? Well, at 90 HP, it is a very strong Pokemon to start into a Fan Rotom. It's a very strong option to start into a Solrock because it's not getting knocked out in one shot by these very powerful opening turn attackers. If you are going first, if you choose to go first, or if your opponent makes you go first, you have Delibird as a starting Pokemon, or even on your bench with Jet Energy in hand. You can put it into the active immediately with energy, and you can quick gift on your first turn going first. If you go first, you can use this attack during your first turn. Search your deck for a card and put it into your hand and then shuffle your deck. So on a turn where you may have had a dead hand draw, you may not have had a lot of good options. Maybe you have a Pidgey on the bench, but you don't, and a rare candy, but you don't have a Pidgeot. But you're missing a piece to having a very good opening next turn. The strength of other decks, the strength of the Noctowl Zard, for example, their turn 2, they get their Hoot Hoots down. Their turn 2, they go and get their Noctowls, which gets them the combo pieces. Delibird, if you're going first, can quick gift and get that combo piece in your hand for your second turn. So if you have the Pidgey on your bench and you have a Dawn in your hand, or you have a rare candy in your hand, you can go and grab that missing piece with quick gift, and if your opponent does not hand disrupt you, then you're getting that piece out on your second turn immediately. There has been times that I've been able to Delibird for Dawn, got Pidgeot out, that comboed into getting Charizard out, that comboed into me having an attack on turn 2 that I didn't have access to because of Quick Gift, because I was able to go out and grab that combo piece I needed. It is so good for anti-brick. There are so many uses, and you can use it at any point during the game. It is something that goes through item lock as well, so you can grab the pieces while you're being item locked. You're being given the time to set up, so you can use the Quick Gift, you can get your Pidgeot out, you can use the Pidgeot Quick Search and Quick Gift to grab out 2 pieces, really put the pressure on your opponent to have that hand disruption. And if you are in a bricked situation, they do hand disrupt you, thinking that Quick Gift is grabbing you something that you need, you get a brand new hand, and it's a win-win situation. So Delibird has been an absolute staple for me in this deck so far, is one of the main reasons why this deck has been such an incredibly good play. Now, looking more into our items side of things here, we have a very standard count. We have a 3 of Buddy Poffin right now. 2 of Countercatcher combined with our 3 bosses orders give us 5 gusting options, which has been honestly very useful. I have used most, if not all of these in a lot of these matchups. 5 gusting options is incredibly powerful, being able to grab them out with Pidgeot, being able to search those pieces out, getting them off of just raw drawing from things like Lily's Determination. We're running 4 of Lily's Determination in this list. We have 2 Ionos. I'd love this count to be higher. However, it's difficult to find space in this list right now. So a little bit of hand disruption, but a lot of refresh, hand refresh, and a lot of search from Pidgeot as well can help out. Rare Candy at a 3 count is imperative here. It is possible with a 2 of Rare Candy. It does cause some issues, however, if you're getting into situations where you're getting TM devoed, if you're getting into situations where you have a candy prized, things like that, you don't have access to it. Having 3 Rare Candy gives much easier time to get back into the Charizards. If you're losing a Charizard off of a knockout, if you have to Turo a Charizard to replay it again, different situations like that, it's much easier to operate with 3 Rare Candy. Running a 2 of Super Rod, that means we're not reliant on Night Stretcher, so we don't have to worry about things like Toedscruel disrupting us. It does mean that we don't have immediate access to those fire energies, but it's a little bit less of an issue with Charizard, because you can just evolve to a Charizard and tutor those energies out of your deck after a Super Rod. So that is why, in combination with the Rare Candies, being able to have that combo to put that Charizard back in your hand, back on the field, get the fire energy back out of your deck with a Super Rod, it is very important. Those pieces combo together and they synergize very nicely. We have a 2 of Ultra Ball. It is a low count of Ultra Balls. However, we are running a 2 of Dawn as well. So we have our basics being able to search out with Buddy Poffin. We have our pieces that we need for the Pidgeot, for the Charizard, for the Lopunny, what have you, all the other pieces that we can grab with Ultra Ball. We also have Artisan to grab our basics out as well, but we have a 2 of Dawn that can do a very important job of going through the deck and removing a bunch of pieces that we may need or we may not want in the deck anymore. So if we have a Dawn, grab a basic Pokemon, we can grab a stage 1 Pokemon, we can grab a stage 2 Pokemon, even if we don't need them. Winning is winning. Taking them out of the deck means we don't draw into them when we use stuff like Lilies in a future turn. If we have Iono, we can use them as discard fodder to make sure that we don't draw back into them with Lilies. Important pieces to this deck. And with that, I've found that this balance of Pokemon search has been impeccable. Being able to grab these things out on top of being able to quick search, being able to quick gift, finding these pieces has been incredibly smooth, very consistent in testing so far. We have a 1 of Town Store to go out and grab the TM Evo. We have a 1 of TM Evo in this list right now. So early game, it means that we don't have to play Arven in this list as well. So having Town Store early is wonderful because it can grab out things like TM Evolution. It can grab out our Maximum Belt. It can be played at any point during the game. We can play it early in the game to grab out TM Evo. We can play it late in the game to grab out Maximum Belt or as a Stadium Bump. At any point in time, Town Store is useful for us. Obviously, Artisan is very useful for us early game. Sometimes late game, if we want to get recycling those Ho-Ohs or the Moltres, getting those back from the discard pile, getting them onto the bench, or just filling up our bench for insurance at the start of the game with Artisan, also very important. One inclusion that has been very clutch in this deck as well is Battle Cage. We do run 3 stadiums, knowing that current meta is playing mostly 1 to 2 stadiums in a lot of lists. With Dragapult, namely only playing 2 jamming towers, usually, not more than 2 stadiums in that list. If we get our Artisan bumped, if we get our Town Store bumped, then Battle Cage is staying in for the rest of the game. So that gives a huge advantage into decks that rely on Monkey Dory, that rely on the Dragapult Phantom Dive damage. Very important to use Battle Cage when it is at the right time to use it. It's difficult to determine exactly when that time can be. However, it goes deck by deck, obviously. Battle Cage can prevent things like Monkey Dory, can prevent things like Dust Noir, can prevent things like Phantom Dive damage. Anything that places damage counters on your bench from an ability or an effective attack will prevent that. It will not stop damage, but it will prevent placing of damage counters. So it's very, very important in some matches to make sure you utilize Battle Cage at the right time. So one card that I have mentioned here before, Turo's Scenario. We're running a 1 of Turo's Scenario. Multi-use option here. Great to get out of Retreat Lock. It's great to refresh damage on Pokemon. Obviously, if you want to use Lopunny early and swing in for big damage on Lopunny, if Lopunny gets damaged, if you're in a matchup where it's unfavorable for you to give up 3 prizes, then you can easily Turo. You can find Turo a number of ways. Obviously, drawing into it is rather luck-based, but quick search can grab you Turo at any point in time if it's not prized. Turo is a great way to remove liabilities from the board. So like a damaged Lopunny that they're trying to save the final 3 prizes of the game, you can scoop that up. You can also recycle your Charizards. I find it very nice to have a Charizard and a Charmeleon on the bench. Obviously, Turo, 1 Charizard, evolve the Charmeleon, immediately get that 3 energies back out there as well. Combining that with Super Rod, combining that with Artisan, you can Artisan a knocked out Pokemon, say they knock out your Ho-Oh. You can Super Rod the Ho-Oh to fire energy back in. You can Artisan Ho-Oh back on your bench. Turo Charizard, evolve the Charizard again, get the energies back onto Ho-Oh, and then Jet Energy the Ho-Oh right back into the active. And then all of a sudden you're hitting for another 200 damage into something like Golden Go. That would be 400 damage. Very, very quick way to go back to back on 1 prizers and make great use of your board while cleaning up damage and cleaning up liabilities. Our last inclusion here for the supporters, obviously Briar has been a very good staple in Charizard, being able to manipulate the prize trade in your favor. It's a bit more difficult to play in this list because we don't play Dust Noir. We don't have as much control over the prize trade, unfortunately. However, we do play a number of single prize Pokemon, and we do play a Lopunny. So knowing that, we do have our own ways of manipulating the prize trade by either giving up a Ho-Oh or Moltres, right? Attacking in with those, having a productive attack with Ho-Oh or Moltres, having an effective attack with Mega Lopunny, being able to use Mega Lopunny, maybe timely giving up a Mega Lopunny to put them at 2 prizes so that we can get Briar. Using the Pokemon in this manner will get people not thinking that you actually do play Briar, which is a big thing in Charizard. A lot of people think that if you're playing Dust Noir Charizard, then obviously you're going to have Briar, so we're going to be playing around Briar, right? Obviously. So I'm not going to take a knockout here, or I'm going to try and get away from a 2 prize situation. But if they see you're not playing, if they see that you're playing Duck in game 1, okay, well maybe they don't play Briar. That could be a key piece for you as well. So being able to hide the fact that you play Briar, because people will not be expecting it in a list that does not play Dust Noir, could be to your advantage. Also, just keep that in your mind as well. You do have access to Briar, so if you're at 3 prizes, they're at 2. You absolutely have a way to clean up the game with Charizard EX, your Terra Pokemon. It has to be a Terra Pokemon that is taking the knockout to get the effect from Briar. So keep that in mind. Very important tool that is in this list as well. And lastly, we're going to be taking a look at the energy here. We have a 6 count of fire energy that allows us to have a lot of flexibility with the fire energies here as well. We can move them 3 onto a single Pokemon without really having much thought about that behind it. We want to be able to use the secondary energies, obviously the 2 Jet, the 1 Mist. Those are very important to be using, obviously Mist energies into Mega Absol box, right? Absol being able to use Terminal Period, Mist energy will block that. Want to be able to make sure that we don't get confused. Obviously, it's a good one. TM Devo will not be able to affect Mist Energy Pokemon as well. So all of these important pieces, ancient boxes starting to come back as well. So Roaring Moon, Frenzied Gouging would get blocked by Mist Energy as well. So any effective attacks that is happening on a Pokemon that Mist Energy is attached to will be negated. So keep that in mind. Very important if you're playing against Dragapult as well. If you don't have Battle Cage, you want to preserve something. Mist Energy will stop the placing of damage counters on that specific Pokemon as well. So very key piece. You're playing against a list that does not have an interaction with Mist Energy. You can easily use that as a colorless attach on your Ho-Oh. That means only 2 Fire Energy need to go on Ho-Oh for it to do 200 damage. Also very, very powerful. Jet Energy, obviously in the same boat. You want to save that for either your Ho-Oh. You can use that to jet on your Pidgeot, to retreat your Pidgeot if you're in a situation where you're retreat locked. Different things like that. You want to be able to creatively use these energies, because these ones you will be able to place, and you'll only be able to place them. You will not be able to tutor them with Charizard. Your fire energies can place and complement those by getting 3 energies on a single Pokemon. With an attach site for jet energy, you can, like I said before, jet up Ho-Oh, and then evolve Charizard, attach 2 to the Ho-Oh, attach 1 to the Charizard. That way, if you're attacking with the Ho-Oh and you lose those energies, next turn you can at least grab another energy out of the deck, attach it to Charizard, and have an attack ready there as well. Deck synergizes incredibly well with itself. It runs like a dream. Ideally, number of matches you would want to go first into. I would say in stage 2 matches, you want to go first with this deck if you know that you're going into a stage 2 deck, you know that you're going into an evolution deck. Going first is obviously important into those. However, into Gold and Go, into things that will be able to utilize a first turn attack. So Terabox, Gold and Go is a big one. Those ones you want to opt for more of a second turn. You want to go second into Joltik Box, things like that, because things that benefit from having a first turn attack, obviously, Turbo Energize comes to mind if they have Turbo Energize, etc. You want to take away their second turn, so to give yourself more time to set up into those. But this deck can be played either first or second. We do run TM Evo. We do have the ability to attack first with Delibird for the quick gift as well. It evens up those matchups really, really nicely. Moltres is obviously a great attacker into things like Budu, single fire energy and knockout Budu, and hits for 40 damage because of weakness. Keep those in mind as well. Early game potential with Mega Lopunny, being able to swing into their more important attackers. Pairing that up with an early game boss if you're so fortunate to get one, and definitely change the entire tide of how the matchup is handled. Now, in terms of how the matchups have been going, we've played about 50 or so games, like probably more than 50 or so games with this list specifically so far. We played here, like, different counts of things here and there. More so just about 50 games on this list to date. We've made it straight from the beginning of the ladder right to Arceus, up to 1600 ELO on Arceus ranking, and we're sitting at about plus 80% win rate currently. I know it's hard to believe. I've been tracking it. We've been hitting about 50 wins and about 7 or 8 losses so far on this list. So very impressive, and these have not been into off meta. Like there's a lot of things that we've hit off meta, obviously, but a majority of the matches that we've been playing have been into top meta, have been into Absolbox, Kangaskhan Bouffalant, Dragapult. We've been playing into Noctowl Zard, obviously, so Terabox Zard. We played into Terabox, played into Gardevoir. We've played into the off metas in the Sharpedo, into Mega Venusaur, into Grassbox, into Toxbox, all of those things. We've had massive victories against all of these. Gold and Go, I've had a very limited sample size of Gold and Go. However, Moltres had single-handedly beaten an entire deck of Gold and Go. Despite Gold and Go taking the first 4 prizes of the game, knocking out Charmander, Delibird, Pidgeotto. Taking the first 4 prizes of the game, Moltres came back with Maximum Belt and reverse swept Gold and Go. Took out 2 Gold and Go's and the Genesect to win the game. They were never able to take another prize after that. So very, very impressive deck, to say the least. Been able to do a lot of stuff with this deck, beating heavy types like Greninja EX, the Terra type Greninja EX, able to play into those. Psyduck plays a lot into this, obviously, because blocking the Dusknoir changes the entire game plan for our opponents here. When we're facing off against them, they obviously have to switch gears, which gives us time to set up that Charizard, get into that Pidgeot. A lot of these games that we won, we played without Pidgeot entirely. We've played into things like Team Rocket's Watchtower. We've played into Slacking, which loves Team Rocket's Watchtower. We have a winning record into Slacking EX as well. So even through disrupting our quick search, even through disrupting our ability to look through the deck and grab the things that we want, this deck has the resilience to play through that and has a north of 80% win rate currently in TCG Live. Now, on paper, I've played this to a couple of tournaments. This particular build, my last tournament, I went 5-0. I went into, I played into a Kangaskhan Bouffalont, an Alakazam, Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and we played against 2 Noctowl Charizards, and we beat all 5 of them to take that title there. So impressive list, to say the least. I think people are sleeping on a number of combinations here. Mainly Lopunny, I think, was kind of memed in a Tord list recently, unfortunately, because it was using Mega Charizard in that list as well. Probably a bit of an overcook on that one, but Mega Lopunny is an extremely powerful partner for Charizard. I think Delibird offers a lot of consistency and a lot of stability for this list as well. When you don't have access to Pidgeot, or where you're kind of stuck in the middle between the two, and you need access, you need to find the things that can get you there, Delibird can operate between that. It doesn't get immediately knocked out. Grab the pieces you want, can get you over that hump, and then get into Charizard and start taking knockouts. And that's exactly what this list does very, very well. If you want the list, it will be in the description of the video below there. Complete list. You can try it out yourselves. Let me know if you're having any trouble with it, if it's performing well for you, or if it's not performing well for you. Let me know. I would like to know this feedback, because so far from my testing, it has been extremely well. It's been performing extremely well, and I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more feedback on that as well. If you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. Be sure to hit that notification button to see if we go live, and we will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.